You see a deck of random images, but what if I told you that you're actually looking at a rigid mathematical blueprint? Behind every card lies a foundational numeric DNA that governs your readings. Today, we are decoding the secret cycle from ace to 10 that connects the entire minor arcana. And stay with me until the end, because there's one final insight that completely changes the way you see tarot. It's the realization that transformed the deck from a collection of 78 separate cards into one interconnected system. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, and you may never look at a tarot deck the same way again. Why is every 7 in the deck a volatile test of faith, while every 4 acts as a structural plateau? Why does the 4 of Wands feel stable? The 4 of Pentacles feel protective? The 4 of Swords feel still? And the 4 of Cups feel stagnant? At first glance, these cards seem completely different. Different imagery, different suits, different meanings. Yet somehow they all express the same underlying energy, the same hidden pattern, the same numerical blueprint. Most readers never notice this. They spend years trying to memorize 78 individual meanings, one card at a time, one guidebook definition at a time, one keyword at a time. And because of that, the deck often feels overwhelming, complicated, even contradictory. But what if the tarot isn't a collection of separate cards at all? What if it's a system, a structured framework built upon repeating mathematical cycles, a hidden architecture that quietly governs every card in the deck? Today, we're stripping away the artwork, removing the symbolism, and exposing the hidden law of numbers underneath it all. Because once you see this pattern, you can never unsee it, and suddenly the tarot starts making sense in a completely different way. Stop memorizing 78 different meanings. Start understanding the system that creates them. Think about learning a language. You could try memorizing thousands of individual sentences, or you could learn the grammar that generates them. The tarot works in exactly the same way. Most people focus on the sentences, few people learn the grammar. The hidden grammar of the minor arcana is numerology, the repeating cycle of numbers that appears in every suit. From cups to pentacles to wands to swords, the suits change, the imagery changes, the life area changes, but the numerical energy remains remarkably consistent. Let's start with the biggest shift in perspective. Most people see 78 separate cards, 78 separate meanings, 78 separate definitions to memorize. But what if that isn't what you're looking at? What if the minor arcana is actually a numerical operating system, a repeating sequence built on the numbers 1 through 10? A hidden code that repeats itself 4 times, once through cups, once through wands, once through swords, and once through pentacles. The artwork changes, the suits change, the situations change, but the underlying code remains exactly the same. Think of it as the card's numeric DNA. The suit tells you where the energy is happening. The number tells you what stage of development that energy has reached. An ace is always potential. A 2 is always seeking balance. A 3 is always expansion. A 4 is always structure. A 5 is always disruption. A 6 is always restoration. A 7 is always a test. An 8 is always mastery. A 9 is always nearing completion. A 10 is always culmination. The context changes. The stage remains consistent. This means the tarot is not describing isolated events. It is describing a cycle, a process, a journey from emergence to completion. Every numbered card represents a stage within that journey. And once you understand the cycle, every card becomes easier to read. Because you're no longer memorizing meanings. You're recognizing where you are within the pattern. Now, something fascinating begins to emerge. The even numbers tend to act as stabilizers within the system. They create moments where energy settles, consolidates, organizes itself. Think about the 2. The raw potential of the ace has now become balanced. A relationship forms, a choice appears, a duality emerges. The energy is no longer chaotic, it has structure. Then we arrive at the four, the great architectural platform of the tarot. The four represents a completed foundation. Something has been built, something has taken shape, something has become real. This is why so many fours feel stable. The Four of Wands celebrates a structure that has been successfully established. The Four of Pentacles protects what has already been built. The Four of Swords creates mental stillness. The Four of Cups creates emotional containment. Different expressions, same mathematical principle. But here's the part many readers miss. The four is not always comfortable. Sometimes it becomes stagnant. A structure that never changes eventually becomes a limitation. A comfort zone eventually becomes a cage. Then comes the six, a number that often restores equilibrium after the disruption of the five. The six acts like a system correcting itself, finding balance, redistributing energy, creating harmony. Twos, fours, sixes. These are the resting points of the tarot. Moments where the system pauses long enough to establish order before continuing its journey. But stability alone cannot create growth. A system that remains perfectly balanced forever becomes stagnant, predictable, lifeless. This is where the odd numbers enter the story. The odd numbers function as disruption mechanisms. They introduce movement, pressure, evolution. The three pushes beyond the safety of the two. The five destroys the comfort of the four. The seven challenges the certainty established by the six. The nine pushes everything toward its final lesson. These numbers create friction, and friction creates transformation. Without them, nothing would change. Nothing would evolve. The cycle would simply repeat itself endlessly without producing wisdom. The odd numbers are not mistakes in the system. They are the engine that drives the system forward. Now let's zoom out and examine the larger architecture. Every suit follows the same rhythm: a beginning, growth, stability, disruption, recovery, challenge, mastery, completion. Imagine a pressure curve. The ace introduces energy. The two gives it direction. The three expands it. The four stabilizes it. The five fractures it. The six repairs it. The seven tests it. The eight strengthens it. The nine pushes it toward maximum complexity. And the 10 releases everything. Notice something remarkable. The Five of Swords and the Five of Pentacles look completely different. One depicts conflict, the other depicts hardship. Yet both carry the same numerical vibration. Both represent instability entering a previously stable system. Both represent pressure. Both represent disruption. The suit changes the language. The number provides the structure. And that's the hidden law operating beneath every card. Another pattern appears when we group cards in threes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Each group behaves like a miniature story: a beginning, a middle, a transformation. The first card introduces a new phase. The second card complicates it. The third card evolves it. This repeating rhythm exists throughout the entire deck. The deeper you study tarot, the more impossible it becomes to ignore. You begin seeing the same architecture everywhere, the same rhythm, the same mathematical heartbeat running underneath every suit. If one number deserves special attention, it's the 7. The 7 is where logic reaches its limit. The structure created by the 6 is no longer enough. Something deeper is required: faith, trust, inner wisdom, intuition. Look at the 7 of Cups, the 7 of Wands, the 7 of Swords, the 7 of Pentacles. Different imagery, different situations, yet each presents a challenge that cannot be solved through stability alone. The individual must make an internal leap. The 7 forces growth beyond certainty, and that makes it one of the most psychologically significant numbers in the entire deck. This brings us back to the 4. The 4 is one of the most misunderstood numbers in tarot. People see stability and assume it is automatically positive. But every structure contains the seeds of stagnation. This is why every 4 is eventually followed by a 5. The system deliberately breaks what has become too rigid, not to punish it, to evolve it. The disruption is not the problem. The disruption is the mechanism of growth. Finally, we arrive at the 10. Most readers see the 10 as an ending, but mathematically, it's something much more interesting. Faith. The 10 contains every lesson that came before it, every success, every failure, every challenge, every breakthrough, all compressed into a single point. The 10 is completion, but it is also preparation, because immediately after the 10 comes the ace. The cycle begins again, not as repetition, but as renewal. Nature works this way, seasons work this way, personal growth works this way. Life itself moves in cycles rather than straight lines. The tarot simply mirrors that reality. So the next time you pull a card, don't start with the image, start with the number. Ask yourself, what stage of the cycle am I seeing? Is this a beginning, a foundation, a disruption, a test, a completion? Once you've identified the number, you've already uncovered nearly half the card's meaning. The suit then tells you where that lesson is unfolding, and together they reveal the message. But this brings us to the final realization. The idea I asked you to remember at the beginning of this video. Most readers believe the tarot contains 78 different meanings, 78 separate messages, 78 separate cards to memorize. But that's an illusion. The tarot doesn't contain 78 stories. It contains one story. A story about beginnings, growth, stability, disruption, recovery, challenge, mastery, completion, and renewal. That same story repeats itself through cups, through wands, through swords, through pentacles, again and again and again. The suits change, the characters change, the circumstances change, but the underlying cycle remains the same. And once you understand that, the deck stops feeling random, the cards stop feeling disconnected, and tarot starts revealing itself for what it really is. One elegant system, expressing the same universal pattern through different forms. That's the hidden mathematical cycle connecting every tarot card. Which tarot number do you find yourself pulling most often? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your experience. There's a lot more to uncover. I'll see you in the next one.